This is Steve, and this is my YouTube channel, Survey My Earnings. And this video, I'm going to talk about the sites and apps that I currently actively use. So I just simply have a list of them here in my spreadsheet, and I'm going to talk about each one briefly. Um, and we'll just start right from the top here. They're not necessarily in any order. However, the first two uh, happen to be in order of what I would consider to be the very best and then the second best. So the first one there in the list is Prolific. And Prolific is based in the UK, and um, they are easily, in my opinion, the best survey site available. And I would consider them to be a survey slash academic study site because a lot of their clients are universities and they're doing actual research in some way by having you answer their questions. The reason, there are many reasons, but uh, uh, reasons that Prolific is so good is that, for one thing, there are generally are a lot of surveys available. Um, so that's always nice. The pay is reasonable, if not good in some cases. And but the main thing, other than those two things, is that they have it set up so that you really don't get disqualified if you start doing a survey. Sometimes there's some criteria that the survey says it wants you to meet, and if you weren't reading carefully enough, and you get into it and they ask you a question, uh, and you answer it in a way that shows that you didn't meet the criteria, then they'll say, well, you're disqualified for this. So you should read carefully uh, everything about the survey before you take it. But for the most part, if you're able to get into the survey and start taking it, you'll be able to get to the end of it and you'll get paid. So excellent. I'm not alone in this opinion that Prolific is the best survey site out there. Cloud or Connect Cloud Research, in my opinion, would be the second best, and it's very similar to Prolific in that it also a lot of academic studies there done by universities, um, and also not often are you disqualified once you start taking one of their surveys. The only reason really that it's not as good as Prolific is that they don't have quite as many survey opportunities as Prolific does. That could easily change on a dime, but as we're talking today, at the beginning of February 2025, that's the case. But excellent, both of those. You do need to apply for both of those, and you need to wait to see if you are accepted. Prolific uh, has sometimes people say they get in immediately or pretty soon. When I applied um, to do studies for surveys and studies for Prolific back in 2023, I think it only took a day. But some people wait months and even longer than a year before they're accepted. So I'm sure that Prolific has some criteria that they use to determine who they want to accept immediately and who they want to sort of put on the back burner, but I do not know what that criteria is. Now, I don't think they make that public, but I could be wrong about that, but I don't think they do. Connect Cloud Research, similar thing where you have to apply and then wait to be accepted. Um, it appears, from what I have heard from others, that it is easier to be accepted to this one than it is Prolific. Um, Although you should, if you're going to try some surveys, you should definitely sign up for both. And even if you have to wait for Prolific, it is worth the wait. Um, Paid Viewpoint. Paid Viewpoint is a very nice, fair survey site. They don't have a lot of surveys at any given time, but they do accept you for most of them. I would say most. And when you are disqualified from a survey, they will still give you 10 cents just for you having tried to do it. So that's very nice. And they have an interesting layout. And um, anyway, so I use them. I use all of these in this list. And the reason that I use them is because I have discovered that even though all of the places have their pros and cons. For me, the pros far outweigh the cons, and so currently these are the ones that I use. I am based in the United States. I only do use survey sites and apps that will pay me via PayPal or send cash money directly to my checking account. A lot of them will give you the option to accept gift cards. I prefer not to do that. I would rather just simply have the money. So all of these pay me via PayPal, except for Amazon Mechanical Turk, and they pay me directly into my checking account. So Amazon Mechanical Turk is an interesting one. I have set it up for myself so that it's still it's a good one for me to use, but it took a lot of grinding early on when I first started in the beginning of 2023 before I got to the point where I have more opportunities available to me. They call, when you do a task or a survey at Amazon Mechanical Turk, they call it a hit. And you have to get approved a certain number of hits before you are then eligible to do even more. And for me, that happened around 250. So I had 250 either tasks or surveys that I completed there before I noticed I was getting a lot more opportunities. And um, so it, 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 it was a lot of work to get to that point. So if you're brand new starting out, I'm not sure that I would recommend that you go for that one initially. Might be one to come back to once you sort of have some other ones going on. The next one's user testing. User testing uh, sort of combined with IntelliZoom, and in fact they just sort of kind of got rid of IntelliZoom. So uh, at least the IntelliZoom name, they sort of engulfed everything. So it's going to be called everything as user testing from this point onward. Forthright is a really interesting site. They have their own surveys and then they have partner surveys. If you do their own surveys and you complete 3 of them, they will give you a bonus of $2, which is nice. They don't have very many of their own surveys at any given time. In fact, you only might get a few of them each month, but they very rarely disqualify you, so that's nice. LifePoints Panel is a very fair survey site, so I recommend that. Five Surveys is interesting. They started off by having they would pay you $1 for per survey. So you did a survey, you got $1, whether it was a 20-minute survey or a 5-minute survey. And then you can cash out at $5. They have since changed that a little bit. You can now do what they call a half survey, which isn't really half a survey, it's really half the pay. So you do if you do a half survey, you'll get 50 cents. But they keep track of it all, and once you hit $5, you can cash out. Add a Poll is an app, and I use that on my Android phone, and cash milestone there is $3. So once you hit $3, you can cash out. Curious Cat is also an app, and they go with points. And once you get 100 points, you can cash out, and 100 points is a little more than $1. So it's pretty easy to acquire that and then cash that out. Hey Piggy is a very good, fair survey site with a good UI. I like that one. Survey Junkie, that's a really large one, very popular, and I agree that it should be. They give almost daily bonuses where you can do a guaranteed survey for a few points, and then you build up the points and cash out. $5 is the limit you need to get to before you can cash out there. Opinion Outpost, a very fair survey site. Inbox Dollars was the first one I ever used back in 2023. And Inbox Dollars has surveys, which are very fair, but they also have other ways to make money, including scanning receipts and playing games. I play some of the games there and make some money in that way. I would advise to play the games only if you think they're fun. Otherwise, it's a big chore, so I only play ones that are fun for me. Branded surveys, lots of people like that one, and I agree, it's a good, fair survey site. QMe is interesting. They don't have a threshold to cash out, so you can make 12 cents or something on a survey and cash out if you want. Rakuten Insights is a very fair survey site, which I use. Prime Opinion as well. Swagbucks is owned by the same company that owns Inbox Dollars. So they have a lot of similar types of surveys and games you can play there. I just choose to play my games on Inbox Dollars, but Swagbucks is a good place to do that as well. Testable Minds is nice in that they don't really reject you from any of the surveys, but there are never very many at any given time. But it's still on my list because it's worth it to me when they do pop up. Nevo is really not a survey site, it's a task site. And a lot of them are audio tasks. So you might see like a text in a box, and then they'll play an audio clip, and you have to determine if the audio clip matches what the text says. That's just an example of the kind of thing they do there. But there's a lot of listening on Nevo and verifying that what has been said is either recognizable or that it matches up to some printed text. Good site. If you go there, they will pay you, but they don't pay until the project is over, and so you might not get paid for several months. But as long as you know that about them, they are legit, and you will eventually be paid. Prize Rebel is a very fair survey site. I just cashed out with them for the first time ever in January 2025. Slice the Pie has very nice surveys. They also have some listening to music, and you can rate music, which you won't make a lot of money doing that. I like to do it. I'm a musician, so I find listening to the music interesting. And so when I'm in the mood to listen to some new music that I've never heard before and feel like rating it, I'll go do that and earn a little bit. So that's a good one too. That's going to end this video for now because I'm running up toward 15 minutes. So until next time, bye.